We got plenty to talk about, and we got my guy,
That's
Mark Mallard,
right.
is back. Welcome back.
I am. Thank you.
Been a while. Happy birthday.
Yes,
We know you
thank
had a
you.
birthday. How does it feel? You're not the big 50 yet.
27.
27
No, actually a
times.
little bit. No, 27 plus. Yeah. No, 1 year closer to the big 50. We'll just put it that way.
You look great, man.
Thanks, man. Hanging in
You
there.
can still dunk.
That's it. Well, I can dunk donuts. That's it.
Set it up for you.
You know what? That or cookies.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It's like a long time ago you were, in the marching band at ASU.
Oh my God, that was the 95 to 2000 era. That was the Jake Plummer years. And it's funny that we'll be talking about the Sun Bowl. That I went to the Rose Bowl in '96, amazing time with all my friends, and then '97 we went to the Sun Bowl, and it was just a week-long party at the hotel. Basically, we had to do a few appearances in El Paso, but the Rose Bowl week was. We got to go to Disneyland and Universal Studios and all these different things where we had to perform, but it was a lot of fun. It was a cool time, and then so close to a national championship.
I know.
Yeah,
Ohio State.
that's it.
So but the funny thing is about the Sun Bowl. I worked at El Paso for 5 years before I came here. They do a great job. They take a lot of pride in hosting that Sun Bowl. So a lot of people are probably thinking, oh man, hey, if you go to the Sun Bowl again. Look, try it. Go out there. It's a great way to bring in the new year. Watch Coach Kenny and his kids do their thing. And you've been part of that.
When we arrived, the band, we're the band. We're not the football team, but they had a mariachi band there. Waiting for us to get off the bus at the hotel.
Oh, okay.
And it was snowing. There was like snow on the ground. It was super cold. Very cold. So
97?
It was the 97. Yeah. And, great people. And they played Iowa, Timmy Dwight, the kick returner back then. And, ASU won that game. Jeremy Stott and those guys.
J.R. Redmond, I think, was the running
back. And Steve Campbell was the quarterback after Jake, just for that year. And I think Pat Tillman was on that team still. Yeah, one more year. That was the last game for him. And it was a good way to go out, and it was more of a relaxed feel. It was a good atmosphere, but the people there were great, and we enjoyed it.
That's funny. I just got to El Paso, and I was covering that bowl game. That's interesting. We were both there. Didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it.
That's crazy.
We were a little younger then.
Yeah, a little younger. Not as wise, right? But
That's right.
Speaking of young, Kenny Dillingham's still a young guy.
Yeah.
And he's really, injected a certain energy, youthful energy into this football program. And of course, when you have the success that he's had, people are going to kick the tires on him. And look, I know a lot of people out there are going, oh my God, we're going to lose Kenny Dillingham. No, but look, the fact that a program like University of Michigan is even considering or even interested in him, that is a compliment.
Well, it's a compliment, and it's also Sharon Moore screwed this whole thing up.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't want to go into that whole backstory, but he was basically gifted this Michigan franchise after Jim Harbaugh had to leave. And he kind of fumbled it away. Literally fumbled it away.
His life away.
And so this Michigan job, you wouldn't think would be open for maybe another year or two. Let's say Moore wasn't winning games next year. You lose to Ohio State 2 more years.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, Kenny's been here for another round of new players coming through. He's on year 4, 5, 6, done everything he could do here. Then you say, okay, I can understand we're going to Michigan. Makes sense. Good for him. He's our guy. We wish him well. But instead, the fan base is on pins and needles right now.
Yeah.
Like, wait a second. The big dogs with deep pockets are trying to get our guy, and they already saw Sam Levitt leave,
right?
And we don't know exactly.
Well, he hasn't left yet.
He's in the transfer portal. We don't know exactly what his goals or motives are, but obviously he wants to be in the NFL, and I actually think he'll make a very good pro quarterback. I look at Bo Nix, and I think that's Sam Levitt 2.0 right there.
Yeah.
So with Kenny, you really want him to stay, but I like what he's doing. He's using this as leverage. Let's just put it for what it is.
Right.
He's saying what he can say to try to get the administration to just give him more. And let's be honest. If Kenny were to leave, that sets this program back, and it becomes what I think local fans in this town have just been disappointed. Any franchise, there's always that run where you're like, all right, we're there, we're on the doorstep, and then just disappointment. Yeah. The rug gets pulled out from under you. And we've seen it with every team in this valley. And so I think it's just that's why people are just really tepid right now. They're like, okay, can he just come out and say, I'm not going. And then let's hold him to it.
He can, but he can also say, look, give me a chance to win. And the way I can win is if you make get a level playing field. Give me the resources that Michigan has, that Alabama has, that LSU has, so I don't have to be tempted to go there. And by that, it's not just his salary, it's his assistant's salary, so they don't leave because you need good assistants. It's NIL money to pay a guy like Sam Levitt to stay and not want to enter the transfer portal, even though there is some talk that it's not just money for Sam Levitt, but it helps.
Yeah, but it's funny, we were joking about this a few weeks ago when BYU's coach was being lured away and Penn State was on the doorstep there. Where's our crumble cookie guy? Where's our guy?
Exactly.
Where's ASU's guy that has a truck full of cash that just says, I got this.
Right. Where's our oil money guy like Texas Tech?
Kenny, what do you need?
Yeah.
You
need to get a checkbook. Let me open up the wallet.
You need a Calvin Johnson type wide receiver that's 18 years old. Here, I got him for you.
Exactly.
You know, like we don't. I mean, I look at like James Harden, John Rahm, Phil Mickelson, these athletes. Yeah, they've got deep pockets. Okay, those guys make good money. But these corporation guys,
I know.
That's lifetime money.
That's big time.
Those are the guys that the oil money, like you talk about, the crumble cookie, these big businesses. That, and now Utah's going a whole other different direction with opening up the wallets there.
Right.
And it's like, I almost get that sense where you're like, a couple of years ago, you're like, ASU's in the game. We've arrived. We're doing it the right way. We're in with everybody else. And now the goalposts moved.
Change the rules.
I know. And so that's got to be frustrating as a fan.
Right. It's frustrating already to see Sam Levitt, like you mentioned, be ready to enter the transfer portal when it opens up on the 2nd of January. Right. Where do you see him going? I know Oregon has to be an option. He's from there. LSU is obviously, we've seen an ASU quarterback go there and do well before.
Yep.
But I wouldn't count out Indiana.
And I think that'd be a good fit for him. It's obviously they've done very well, and they're back in the national spotlight for
As Mendoza.
Yeah, exactly. And if that's all they need is a quarterback, that's I think what he's going to look at. And you think about, okay, with ASU, Jordan Tyson's gone, and all these people, you're losing Raleek Brown today. Offensive weapons that maybe he knew they were leaving, and now do I want to come back for the year that I need to get to the NFL with a bunch of new guys and have chemistry issues, or do I want to go to like an Ohio State where it's plug me in with NFL caliber players,
offensive line,
and guys that can block, and I can just do my thing. Yeah, think about the NAU game. I was watching some video today, doing some research back on Sam, and it's like, he was running for his life against NAU. And so, you don't want that if you're trying to put your best foot forward and build your resume. But Oregon, obviously, that's close to home for him. I think they're just kind of waiting to see if Moore declares for the NFL draft, the quarterback they have there now, because they like him. But even still, we can't blame Sam for anything. There's like 8 really good quarterbacks that have entered the portal that were the man at their school, like Cincinnati's quarterback. All these quarterbacks, I don't know what they're looking for, but there's obviously something with this system where they say, okay, I got to go.
Right. And it's a new day and age of college football, And I think what Sam Levitt is doing is what Kenny Dillingham is threatening to do, where Sam Levitt is saying, look, like you mentioned, where can I go where I can make my best case for the National Football League? And you mentioned the NAU game. He's been running for his life the last couple of years, and I think that's why he's got injured for the last couple of years, because he's had to take big hits. So he's thinking, look, if I can go to, I'm losing my top wideout, NFL caliber wideout. I don't know what kind of offensive line I'm going to have. The running backs are leaving. So I think he's going somewhere where he knows he has a better supporting cast.
Right.
And it's sad to see, but hey, look, that's his option. Yeah. That's his prerogative. And he's trying to do what he can to better himself, to set himself up for life. Because when you get to the NFL and you're a first or second or third round quarterback, that's a big time box.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, like, if you think about the relationship with Kenny Dillingham, and this speaks to the person that Kenny is, he wishes him well. Right. And I'm sure Kenny's making calls on his behalf saying, look, you want this guy, and this is some kind of plays that you want to run because it's going to work for you. Because he wants to see his kids do well. Just like Abney today and Raleek Brown leaving for the draft, he reposts that and says, listen, kid's a great kid. Are the fan base, is that good? Are we going to do that if Kenny leaves?
Yeah.
Are we going to be as kind and like, hey, good for you because your goal in life is to win a national championship? Personally, that's what you want.
Right.
And you could go to Michigan and then you win a national championship and we just feel like, oh, that was our guy. But hey, good for you.
And your whole recruiting spiel was, if you win here, it means more. Be one of us.
It really does.
And it does. I know it does for him. And I know that's why he got so emotional when he was asked about it. I'm sure this is tugging at his heartstrings because Dude, this is the University of Michigan we're talking about.
I know.
This is one of the marquee jobs in football, not just college football. I think it could be a better job than some NFL head coaching jobs. And think about it.
We moved here from Michigan, and I lived right around University of Michigan when I was a kid, and we moved out here when I was 10. So I've been in Arizona this whole time. And if you think about ASU, we had the Rose Bowl year.
Yes.
And then we had
a big draft.
We had 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it goes here.
30-year gap.
That's kind of how it goes here.
I know.
To win 8 games last year with as many injuries as they had.
I know.
I always tell people, I'm like, if ASU is an 8-win team every year, and occasionally you have the 10 or 12 win, and maybe you go as low as 7, why are you mad at that?
Right.
When you've had 30 years of nothing,
right?
You know, you got to be happy with what's here. And so I think that's why people are very nervous that Kenny might leave, because they know they can have that,
right?
And we could at least be in the mix,
yes,
if he stays.
Yep.
And if he leaves, now you have no idea.
What do we do?
What's the identity?
Yeah,
he is the identity.
He is the identity, and he has some momentum when it comes to recruiting, because if you're a high school kid and you're running back in Texas and you see Cam Scadaboo, what he's doing for the Giants, you know, and then you see, you know, Jordan Tyson, he's going to be probably the first wide receiver taken, definitely a first rounder.
Yeah.
Top Break will come back. Yeah, we're going to keep talking, so just, you know, hang around. We hope you guys keep watching, and we'll be right back. We'll talk, you know, maybe even some Cardinals, maybe some Suns. It was pretty interesting for the Suns.
Dylan Brooks
and LeBron James. More on that coming up after the break. All right, and we're back. It's the second segment of Fox 10 Talk Sports, the fun stuff. We got my guy Mark Mowrich back after a little hiatus, so we missed you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And yeah, we were talking about Keith Abney, you know, and Raleek Brown. I think Abney could go probably like third round. Raleek Brown, I think, is going to get a look just because of the success of Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny. I think about, like, you remember Jack Jones, the kid from USC that transferred here, played DB, and now he's in the NFL, and he didn't get drafted very high, bounced around a little bit, and now all of a sudden, 5-6 years in the league, he's a starter, and he's a steady NFL player, probably going to get a good contract. I could see Adney being somebody like that. Comes in, works his way onto a roster, maybe starts, maybe he's on special teams to be, start his career. Even like Chase Lucas.
I was about to say.
Yeah, Chase Lucas worked, and he stuck with it, and he was a good player. And, if you can tackle and run and play hard and work in a scheme that a coach wants, great. Raleek Brown, I think, is exciting to watch.
I know.
Because he's shifty, he's powerful. I was looking at some of his runs today where he was in the pile and they just pushed the pile into the end zone. He's got some speed and he catches the ball out of the backfield. He's exactly what you need in today's NFL. And honestly, it could be somebody the Cardinals could use.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they could use him this weekend.
Exactly. Suit him up.
Yeah, before we get to the Cardinals, let's talk. You talk about guys that play hard. Suns have several guys that play hard, but probably nobody plays harder than Dillon Brooks.
Right.
And boy, does he love to stick it to LeBron James. And I love to watch how he doesn't back down from LeBron James.
Right. And it's funny because I was looking at it and I was going over that last play where he got up and bumped LeBron. Okay, LeBron's 6'9", 250.
I know.
And Dillon Brooks is like 6'6", 225.
Yeah.
And he gave him a little. And it was an aggressive little.
Yeah, sure.
And LeBron's acting like he just got hit by a bulldozer. And it's like, okay, he's going to get all the calls. And what I didn't like about that whole thing is when LeBron went by on that shot.
Yeah,
and he
on the three-point shot,
and he went and he did a little, and when I played in high school, I had a guy that I used to practice against. A guy I played at another school. Anytime I'd go up to shoot, he'd always poke me in the stomach. I hated that.
Right.
It pissed me off.
It throws you off.
It does, but the refs maybe didn't see that. But if he's making contact, it's a foul. And he clipped his leg a little bit too.
Yeah.
But he does get under LeBron's skin, and I think he likes that.
Of course.
And I think LeBron. I just wish people would foul LeBron hard.
Yeah,
if you're going to foul him,
get the call.
Foul him.
They get your money's worth.
Why is he so special now? Because I know he's the face of the league and he's been around forever. And I'm not a LeBron hater, but like if you're going to foul the guy, foul him.
The only thing okay, LeBron's already one of the best players on the court. A lot of times the best player on the court.
Yeah.
Why do you have to be so petty and so working the ref? It's just like, dude. How many more advantages do you want?
He put his hands on the ref.
I know.
He took him and he moved him. It wasn't like he put his hand on and gently, hey, I need to talk to you. He's barking at him and turned him.
Yeah.
And not even a technical foul, not even like anything there. No big deal.
Right.
It's like, come on.
And then he gets the call on the three-point play where Devin Booker hits him on the hand. Yeah. I thought the hand was part of the ball.
Yeah, exactly. And if that were Game 5 of a playoff series, that's a no call.
Yes, absolutely.
The refs swallow their whistle and go, that is not going to determine the game. Because it was a fadeaway from 35 feet, hit on the hand. Odds of him maybe he makes a shot. Good for him if he does.
Right.
But the odds of that shot going in, not great. But you give him the free throws and then it's basically over.
Right.
But the thing about that game, we were watching it. Suns are down 20. There was no flow to that game.
There wasn't.
There were calls almost every possession. There were reviews seemingly every possession. And the referee, I wanted to go back and clock how much TV time he got. Because his explanations were long.
That was
he goes, with 2.4 on the shot clock and in the third quarter of this foul and that. Dude, is it a foul or not?
Point.
Right?
Yeah. Give me the baby. I don't want the labor pain.
Seriously. But he had to explain to the crowd the whole rules, I guess. Why didn't they basically say, the foul's called because LeBron said so?
Exactly.
Let's continue
told me to call the foul.
Yeah.
Yeah, the officiating I thought was horrible. But the cool part was the Suns, look, Devin Booker said, I need to not reach there and even give the referee the opportunity to call that play.
Right.
And then even Dillon Brooks said, look, I got to, tone it down. But I think it's better to say whoa than go.
Sure.
And I like his intensity.
You need it.
You tell him, look, don't change who you are. Keep doing what you're doing because this kind of fire, this kind of intensity was missing big time last year. And it was so frustrating to watch a team that didn't have heart at all.
Well, but and not only just missing with the team, it's missing in today's NBA.
Good point.
How many games have you watched this year where a team is down 20 with 6 minutes left and the coach just puts up the white flag?
And you're like, do these guys even care?
And he goes, you know what? 6 minutes left. you can make up 20 in 6 minutes in today's NBA very quickly.
Yeah.
And I like that they stayed in there and they fought and they battled. And I think that's why you're so heated at the end of the game, is because you climb the mountain and the referee's got to see that. And then to not get rewarded for that.
I know.
When you take the lead, not get the foul call on the 3 to then shoot a free throw and go up by 2. And then to get the foul called against you at the end, you're like, come on, we've done everything to win this game. And New York said, you will not win this game.
Exactly.
It's LeBron.
Yeah.
But I do like that there's fight. But again, that's one of my biggest gripes with the NBA today, is just the waving of the white flag so early and the blowouts. It's just so bad for the league when teams are down by 30 in the second quarter, and it's like, these are all professional basketball players. Is anybody going to, back in the 80s or 90s, it'd have been a hard foul. Somebody would be like, you're kicking my ass, I'm going to put you on the ground, and we're going to get this thing shook up a little bit. But everyone's like, nah, it's good. We'll go to the club.
Yeah, and Jordan wouldn't miss a game. He was playing 82 games.
Right.
It's just a different time, and it's crazy. You talk about waving the white flag. Do the Cardinals wave the white flag and say, look, let's not win another game and just go for draft order positioning? I mean, this is their last opportunity to win in front of the hometown fans. Get this. The last time the Arizona Cardinals won on a Sunday was week 2, and I was here at home. The next win they got was on a Monday.
Yeah.
So we haven't had a victory Monday since September 12th.
Haven't had a victory.
Yeah.
So it would be, you know what? Honestly, I do hope they win, because I do think they're playing hard. I think Jacoby Brissett's been a breath of fresh air at the quarterback position. Trey McBride's amazing. I do think that the guys haven't quit on Jonathan Gannon, which is good. But at the same time, if you're talking about the draft, the way I look at it is, if you win and you slide a little bit, I don't necessarily think it matters, because you're not trying to get. I mean, you do need a quarterback, but do you really want any of these quarterbacks?
Right. It's not like Dan Marino.
I'm not really sure. You need offensive linemen, and there are a couple good ones that'll be in the top 10.
Right.
And then who knows? Maybe if you slide down, are they going to take Jordan Tyson? No, I know everybody would want that, but they've already got, honestly, Michael Wilson has proven that you just need a guy to get an opportunity to play, and they can make plays. I think Michael Wilson's been a revelation for this team.
He really has.
So that's basically taken wide receiver off the board, because if Marvin Harrison can get it together, which I believe he will, now you've got 2 really good receivers. You got Trey McBride. You need a running back. James Conner.
Yeah.
Does he come back and banged up? And I mean, I think if you look at this season, when he got hurt, it was over.
That's it.
That was it.
He was
He was the Dylan Brooks.
He was
of this team, and that was it. And then Trey Benson never became.
He had his chance, and then he got hurt. Yeah, it was one injury after another. But you kind of glossed over Trey McBride. Man, this guy.
Yeah.
Well, you look at what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I had to double, triple check that he's the first tight end in the history of the National Football League with back-to-back 100 reception seasons.
Yeah.
That's like Hall of Fame stuff. He's breaking NFL record, not just franchise records, NFL records, and on a team that's not even winning. Can you imagine if he was on a team where they had other wide receivers that were like, hey, watch out for this guy, watch out for that guy, and you couldn't really focus on him. And so, like you mentioned, these guys, a lot of them have not quit, especially on the offensive side of the football.
Right.
Jacoby Brissett has really improved his stock.
Right.
Trey McBride brings it night in and night out, game in and game out.
And the thing about Trey McBride that I like is, when the Cardinals drafted him in the second round, he was the best tight end on the board. He was the number 1 tight end. And everyone's like, we don't need a tight end. What are we drafting a tight end for? We don't need a tight end. I think so many times teams draft for need.
Right.
And when they've got a special talent in front of them, and it's like when the Cardinals traded down and didn't draft Terrell Suggs.
Right.
Generational pass rusher, maybe some character issues. Local kid, oh no, we're going to trade down and get Calvin Pace and Bryant Johnson.
Drafted.
Didn't work out.
I know. How did it work out for the Ravens?
I know. Very well. So I think that's another debate for another day, is the drafting. Maybe we get to draft time, the need versus, skill.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's a couple really good offensive linemen, some tackles, right tackles, that'll be on the board in the top 10 that I think would really help the Cardinals offensive line.
Yeah, that's always a big, debate. Do you take need or the best player available? And the guys that you can take the best player available, and if you don't need him, you can trade him for more draft picks or players that you need.
Yeah, or trade the guy that has the big contract that maybe is aging out that a veteran team might want, and now you're under the salary cap because you got a guy for 4 years on a rookie deal.
Yep.
There's ways around it.
So do you think the Cardinals can get a win? Because, the players want to win. They're going to try. But it's funny. This is their last home game. They're playing the Falcons.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson's a special talent, 1,800 yards of total offense.
Yep.
And they get extra time to prepare because they played on Thursday, last Thursday.
They got Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Who's still in the league, by the way.
I know.
And still collecting big paychecks. But no, Atlanta's not having a very good year. They're kind of middle of the road, but I think it's a game the Cardinals could win, but it's going to be one of those games where Jacoby's going to have to throw the ball for 350, a couple touchdowns, and wing it all over the field. But it's up to the defense. It's up to the defense, really. And Calais Campbell, we talked about him in the office all the time. Like, he came back. He's been the best player on defense. I mean, Josh Sweat's been really good on the edge, but Calais Campbell came back for one more year. The season fell apart early, so you feel bad for him, but he's blocking field goals. He's making plays, and look, the camera's moving. That's fancy. See, we did that on purpose.
Exactly.
No, but I know the stadium won't have a lot of energy and it'll be tough, but you just can't get behind early. Give the fans something to cheer about, and I think Gannon gets another year when they decide who their quarterback's going to be. I think the coordinators have to be shaken up a little bit, and then we'll go from there. Yeah,
and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the quarterback position and Kyler Murray. Does he look good in the silver and black of the Las Vegas Raiders, or is he going to be a purple people eater with the Minnesota Vikings?
The Dolphins, you never know.
Saints could use a quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to really chap a lot of behinds if he goes somewhere.
And does well,
which seems to happen with Arizona Cardinal players. So, we've got much more to talk about all week long, of course. Hope you guys keep watching because Mark and I are going to keep watching or talking. That's for sure.
We'll do both.
And we'll do both. Yeah, we'll watch the sports and then we'll talk about it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.